Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and envies of the world. This is Doc. I wanted to share this time with you because I have decided to start a new project in which I am interviewing podcasters who are of Asian descent and who I personally look up to and see as people who are pillars of my community, people who I see as representing for the people and something that's important to me because usually in this pro wrestling podcasting media personality space, we don't see a lot of diversity usually. Unless you look onto my show and you see how diverse, how vast, how different everyone is within this space. And, I just thought it would be great to highlight and pay homage to people who I have a great respect for and who I believe represent for the Asian community at large within this space and who have big voices and contribute. And besides all of us eating rice, the other thing that connects us is our love of pro wrestling. And that's just what I wanted to share with people. Thank you so much.
TFAL.
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 Why did the stop
I'm
it?
already laughing.
wait.
I don't
I
even know what
can't
it is. I'm already
wait.
laughing.
Do it. Say
Oh my
it.
God. For some reason, I made it a point to try to eat at every Jollibee.
Filipinos have really ostentatious first names, so then you get called Bong Bong.
No one went to Santa Monica Beach. I went to the beach. Sorry. Did you guys go to the beach? And so my
You're
teacher's
like,
like,
beach is a
you
bad
mean
word."
beach? And I said,
Beach. Bitch. Bitch.
Filipino nurse migration to the United States is a transnational phenomenon.
Satanas, that's the Filipino gang.
The movie theater my parents were in was supposed to blow up.
Why aren't Filipino restaurants taking off?
car pulls, rolls by, gun, pop, pop, pop.
Did you write a poem for Elaine?
No.
Oh, I might have actually.
What?
My brown hand on her brown body. Oh, can I get the chicken, the beef, the purple fork? Palo.
Yeah, what?
I googled Filipino spanking, but it's the wrong thing to Google for this topic.
I just shared some very intimate things with listeners out there.
Hey, uh, this is Doc, and I just like to say one of the most entertaining podcasts I listen to is This Filipino American Life, a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at iba pa. And this is one of those seminal podcasts that kind of started me on my feeling that, hey, I guess, Filipinos, Asian Americans can have this voice in the world of podcasting. And um, on this show, I do not have Michael Naila, producer Mike. I do not have Joseph Bernardo. I do not have Ryan Carpio or even Gurley. I have Elaine Dalalis, of historic hi-fi town. She's a writer, a podcaster. She works in education. She curates Color Your Troubles Away, a monthly arts event that offers stress relief, healing, meditation through coloring. Elaine, as the host of TFAL, with producer Mike, Joe, and Ryan, she is one of those personalities that kind of speaks to you as like a Filipino American. You kind of like see her as that ate. That's the term we use as a term of endearment for people older than us. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it together because this means a lot. Getting this interview with someone who I've listened to for like a decade and being able to share a conversation with someone who I respect and who I think upholds and represents the Filipino community, I hope to present her to you guys. And we have fun in this. She's so funny. She's great. She's entertaining. And it's just when I when I started podcasting, when I started this whole project, it wasn't it was not like something that came out of nowhere. It came because of people like Elaine, Mike, Ryan, Joe, Gurley. It came out of people like them who, in this podcast space, specifically did a podcast where they talked about the Filipino diaspora. And as a Filipino American, this mission resonated with me. And she had another podcast. She also has her own wrestling podcast that she did. Uh, I often make this joke about being the longest running episodic American, Asian American pro wrestling podcast. But her friends over at Thessaloniki Geek, they're Filipino guys. They've been doing it longer than I have, and I got so much respect for them. But like to share this time with Elaine, to share this time, and I'm just nobody from no one, and this was just a really important interview to get because I believe in the mission of this Filipino American life. I believe Elaine is one of the best podcasters, one of the best personalities out there, and like it's really just an honor to have her on, and an honor to share this time with her and share the time she spent with me, with you guys. So once again, this is not the last Asian American I'm interviewing. This is not the last Filipino American I've interviewed. These guys are not the first Filipino Americans that I've interviewed. But I just wanted to share in this project with you guys my love and respect for guys and girls who and anybody who came before me, who paved the way for me to have this show, who paved the way for us to have a voice, to be the first voices. I want to thank you, Garrett Gonzalez, Wei Ting, WH Park, and last but not least, Elaine Dalalis for sharing this time with me. And I I want to say salamat po, and that's the gist of it, man. And I want to thank all my people, all my listeners for listening to these programs and coming here with me because it means a lot to me that you're listening, and I just wanted to share this with you guys because this is important to me. This is important to get out there. These are the voices that encourage me, that that gave me the kind of belief in myself that I could do this, and you know I I am just so thankful that they're there. So once again, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone that's been listening. Thank you to all of my guests. It doesn't matter race, creed, or color, what country you're from. We're all human beings, and I enjoyed my time talking with all you guys. This might sound like it's the end, but it's not the end of my show. It's just the beginning, and I just want to say thank you for all the support. and much respect. Speak up! Let's get high!
My secret, just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
Dr. Lariat, aka Baon Corbin, aka Dolphy Ziegler, aka Andrew E. Kornick, aka The Good Ba Boy, yeah, aka Magandang Umaga, aka I Love You Solo Suka, aka Suman Reigns, Acknowledge Me, aka Jacob Puto, All Gas, No Brakes, Yadadamin, aka the Chow Mein event, J Pusoy Dos, aka the Flanimal Bautista. I'll walk around the fire pit of lechon, aka the Bigan Killer, Randy Otap, aka Big Match, Jian Sinagang, aka your host. And today, it's amazing. I'm so blessed and to have this person here. They are one of the hosts of one of my favorite podcasts, especially for me being a Filipino American, from This Filipino American Life, an exploration of the Filipino American experience. Elaine Dalalos.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. The pleasure is mine. And this
I'm gonna do what I do on my show. Oh shit. Sorry.
That's fine.
Wow. Fail. I fail. It was gonna do air horns, but my phone decided to not do air horns. Isn't that sad? Pew 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 pew.
Hey.
That's what on our show we normally do.
Yeah, well,
But my phone decided to not function right now, so that's pretty apropos for me.
hey, we're live, pal. It happens, and your show talks about the Filipino American diaspora, and I think it's appropriate for us to talk about it since it. When we talk about stuff like in pro wrestling and representation, it's not too often that when we were growing up that we would see Filipinos in our pro wrestling, but we did have some people who sort of looked like us, but we'll get to that later. My first question, of course, as it always is how did you get into pro wrestling?
Oh, I love this question. And also, I think I figured it out. Yay!
Yeah! Hell yeah! Okay,
Air
yeah.
horn.
Let's go.
There we
Let's
go.
go. Let's go.
You saw some behind the scenes of how the sauce is made with the air horns. 'Cause,
Hey.
yes, it just comes off my phone. But how did I get into pro wrestling? It's just like how kids got into it in the 80s. Like I was channel surfing because all I did was watch TV when I was a little kid, and I saw wrestling on whatever local affiliate that was on, and I was just like mesmerized with how like it was basically a soap opera, like, but these like cartoonish people were just fighting each other in a ring. And so all the stories and stuff, like, it just reminded me of, like, the story like, the soap operas my Lola would watch, but
Nice.
just different. Instead of General Hospital and All My Children, it was, like, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and, like, Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like that it was fun. It was just fun, like,
Yeah.
I love sports. Wrestling is just like another sport, so, you root for the good guys and the bad guys, so it was fun. That's how I got into it.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. Like, cause I always like had this like inclination towards pro wrestling because uh, my mom, she actually, I don't know how it got there, but my mom loved WWF. She loved Bob Backlund. That was her boyfriend. Well, when she came to the U.S., she actually went to Madison Square Garden to watch Backlund versus Snuka, and because yeah, her brother had got her from sponsored her, and like one of the first things she wanted to do when she got in America was go to New York to watch wrestling, and that happened to be the match. So uh, it's never been something that's been out of my family. It's sort of been like sort of an encouraged like hobby, which I think is funny. My dad, however, he was like always making fun of my mom and me for, and my little sister. Well, at the time she was my brother, but now she's my sister, and like we were just be watching wrestling and just be a whole family thing. And also my dad's brother also loved WWF, and it's just funny. I don't know how it was able to hit over in like Manila or something, but they were able to watch the pro wrestling over there or get tapes or something. So it's just I could feel how like pro wrestling and it being a drama because all our Lolas love those dramas. They would turn my grandma, my nanang would watch TFC and just watch all those dramas all in there, and like it's the same thing. You got a good guy, you got a bad guy, you have the confrontations, you have the drama. I think like my mom really did like the whole Miss Elizabeth with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man thing, and like it's just like it's fun. It's fun, and I think about the '80s because I only watched the '80s on tape. I never watched it. I couldn't watch it live because I was a baby. So what I remember is like you see it on tape and you see all these colors and these colors are popping and all these characters are popping, and there's pictures of me like it, and I'm wearing a polka dot shirt and I'm wearing like just black underwear and the video was like me doing Dusty Rhodes, which is funny because I probably was like 4 and I was copying him, and I think I was copying him because my dad reminded me of Dusty because my dad has curly hair, my dad is chubby, my dad has a lisp, and my dad says baby a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so like when you think about like pro wrestling and you think about these characters that stand out to you, who are some of your favorite characters throughout the years?
Oh, this is so funny because, like, in my group of wrestling friends, um, they know they we always. I mean, we watch wrestling because we love the professional sport of wrestling, and like Loki, like yeah, it's full of like really cute and hot athletic dudes, and so when I'm with my wrestle friends, like it's so funny. When I talk about like my early wrestling, like I remember telling Berto from PNG podcast, the wrestling podcast that we did for a short time. Ravishing Rick Rude was my guy when I was little because like he like sparked some sexual like thing in my little childhood being of like,
Man.
ooh, this guy is very attractive and he does this dance and he has airbrush pants that I can't stop looking at and all the ladies are always yelling for him and I too want to yell for him. So it's just so funny because like that was my guy, and I've heard stories that he was actually like such a sweetheart or something, like he's like really like a nice guy, and I'm like that would make sense. And like my crew of wrestling friends, like we would always joke about certain wrestlers. We would do this thing like at WrestleMania, we did this thing about Roman Reigns where we would be like we'd just be like, ugh, he's so attractive. What kind of a jerk is this guy? He's so pretty to look at. And we would just be and like we'd be basically doing like opposite day and like we've done that with like so my wrestling friends know that like I had a thing for Cody Rhodes too. And like I
Whoa.
love Brandy. And then Berto would always be like, ugh, Brandy's just so beautiful. How dare she be so pretty and just stand next there and just be like Cody's partner. And then I would just be like, so dumb. But like, that's why wrestling is fun because it's just, I don't even know what the question was. I'm so sorry. I'm like,
Oh no, I was just talking about like your favorite wrestler. You answered it with
oh yeah, Ravishing Rick Rude when I
Ravishing.
was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you could go off on your love for making this fun because now I find this game very fun. Like, man, how dare Roman have such long, beautiful hair?
Oh yeah, how dare he be such an attractive tribal chief
Yeah, my,
with his beautiful skin and luscious locks
oh my
and
gosh,
beautiful eyes. Why?
how dare he have those abs? Why does he have those abs? What's the point?
Disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
Disgustingly handsome.
It,
Gross.
it is so weird that they spent so many years putting that vest on him when he had that underneath. That's crazy.
What was wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Well, it's kind of like Andrade because in New Japan that dude wore a mask the whole time,
Oh yeah.
and then you're like, that face was under that mask
Oh man.
the whole time. His whole New Japan run. Why?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
that's crazy. When he lost the mask, I'm gonna get a little bit, So when he lost the mask, there were so many girls on Mexican Twitter that I guess were saying like, I want to sit on that face, and that
Yeah,
was
I
like,
remember that.
I was like,
It
whoa,
was like a lot.
that's a lot. I mean, dude's handsome. I mean, he's a very guapo man, but I understand. Like, cause my wife before she had a thing like everybody has a thing for Randy Orton. Not now, like but like 10 years ago. When we went to like that
I wasn't
SummerSlam.
into wrestling back in that era. So that's also the thing about my love of wrestling. It was in the 80s, and then in that era, I have a complete gap. I stopped watching between like 98 and maybe like 2000. Oh no, I will say this. I stopped watching between 98 and basically 2016.
Oh
I
yeah,
did not keep up with wrestling at
there
all.
there's a lot of people that I know like that. Cause like my cousin, he loved like Undertaker. He loved like Bret Hart, like Super Shawn Michaels. But he stopped watching like in 1998 because like he didn't have Bret Hart anymore because he went to WCW and my cousin didn't have cable anymore, so he couldn't watch Bret Hart.
You can watch it, yeah.
So he was like, okay, my guy's not here anymore, so I'm done. So did you fall off because you were a cool teenager or because you?
I fell off because I had just graduated high school and I was going to college and
Yeah.
it just wasn't a thing. Also, it got it got so sexist.
Oh,
And I'm 18 years old. It's no longer fun anymore because I can see I'm a teenager in America. I'm a girl, I'm a
yeah.
woman, and I'm seeing Trish Stratus's storyline. She's just being objectified, and
Oh gosh.
Lita, the whole Lita thing, and Matt Hardy and Edge. That's a story I don't want to remember.
I,
And Lita is such a good wrestler.
yeah.
Lita is so athletic and so strong. I was a Lita stan. I loved Lita
Yeah.
in that time, but it just sucked because I couldn't really enjoy it. Also, I hated what they did to China.
Uh,
It's so wild how wrestlers back then, because they wanted everybody to look like Trish, right? Because
yeah.
Vince and his blonde Barbie dolls wrestlers, they all had to look like Trish all the time, right?
Yeah.
You see the trend, like it's Trish, it's Michelle McCool, like all these things. But like the wrestlers who were fun to watch were like Lita and like Holly and like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they were really athletic and
Yeah.
like you thought that they could beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And China just she was a like China like Jordan Grace's body type is China.
Yeah.
Like
Rhea Ripley is Australian
Rhea
China.
Ripley is China. Beth Phoenix, which also it sucked because she was in that era. She
Yeah.
basically is like they're strong women and they just didn't have like good competition
Yeah.
because the wrestlers they were getting were like either like models or fit like the fitness models like they, I know that they can handle it, but
Yeah.
it's just like the level, right? Because like it's not like they were getting like they weren't getting like Aja Kong or something to come out, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just like I wish, like I just
They,
wish like some of those wrestlers would have had like the respect in that era, but
yeah.
the sexism and stuff like that part of the story, I couldn't get on board. Like
Yeah.
and so I walked away. I just didn't deal. I did try. You know what did bring me back to it a little bit in that timing? Because I am a reality TV junkie.
Oh,
I
total.
love reality TV. Total Divas.
Yeah. That's
Total
how
Divas brought me in.
that's how my wife got like interested in going. That's how I convinced her to go to SummerSlam with me because she liked the Bellas and she liked Brian from the reality show. She got involved. She like got invested because of like John Cena and Brian were on the reality show and they're going to be the main event at SummerSlam. She was like, okay, I'll watch it. And like,
Yeah.
it's like, and then like reality shows are like the new dramas too, because like it's
Exactly.
it's like fun stuff happens. You don't know drama, and that's like what drives the audience. And I also, I feel like oftentimes the female audience is neglected and isn't seen as important, even though there is a large fan base of women that love pro wrestling or like pro wrestling, follow pro wrestling because, and things like Total Divas was a big shift in the audience as far as getting more females. Um, I hate saying females and like that, but women. I'm gonna say women to watch and like having younger girls watch because they'll see like these pro wrestlers as people on that show and like find a connection. And we still see them like today. Like Naomi was on that show, and like it's Natty was on that show. So many Nia Jax was on that show. So many people like from that show are still like sort of relevant today, but like that was an era and that helped bring forth skip forth a couple of years and that brings back the women's evolution era and then we start seeing the real wrestlers like Sasha, Charlotte, Bailey, Becky, Asuka, like all of them come out and like you start to see like the shift in like how women pro wrestlers are seen in 2016. Right when you come in, that's when the good
Yeah.
happens. Like and then you brought up Asia Kong because like in 94 95 they had Bull Nakano and Asia Kong come in with all the other
Yeah.
Japanese women. My sister said like seeing Asia Kong, seeing Bull Nakano, it sparked something in her as a little boy back then, and like it's something like you sort of see like a whole like shift because like they're wearing like the big outlandish makeup, they have like the clothes, and they're like big strong women that they're there to like none of them was demure, and then it shifted to just being like you said misogynist stuff. I had this discussion before with someone else where they said like they fell out of WWE because there was a weird shift with Stone Cold Steve Austin, with DX, with all of that towards more kind of like rebellious, toxic masculinity, sort of like uh, gross. You have gross behavior with Sable, with Sunny, with
Yeah.
with Marlena. Like it's just if I want to go back and watch that stuff and see like how the women are objectified and used, like China, it's so sad what happened with China. And like you just like go back and you wonder like, which is sad to say, like did all that treatment kind of like mess up all these people and their like mentalities?
Oh, it totally did. It
Yeah.
totally did.
Because like I think Trish said like it
Absolutely.
really fucked with her mentally, as far as like her worth. But then she would try to separate that because she didn't bring her life from work back home, and that's why she married like a normal dude that got booed at her Hall of Fame ceremony. But that's a
Oh, that guy is like I think I heard that like he was like her high school sweetheart or some
that's a
shit
sweet
like that.
story.
Like that is just such an adorable story.
Yeah.
Like it's
And he just come up there. She's
so
like,
Canadian.
yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
Canadian.
Yeah, that's so Canadian, but it's like it's so sweet and like it's so wholesome. And like when I think about stuff like that, when I go back and because like I go back and like watch stuff like that, and I will go back and I watch like because like when I was growing up, like my guys were pretty much like I liked Shawn Michaels. I liked Bret Hart when he became a jerk for Canada. I liked I liked a lot of the luchadors. But like for me and my fandom in WWF back then, there was a couple of guys that I looked at as far as like guys that sort of looked like my uncles. So I like looked at the Head Shrinkers and Yokozuna because like having like these brown skin big back dudes go on TV and like sort of like show out. They're big, but they're doing like super kicks. They're doing splashes off the top rope. They're doing moonsaults. Yokozuna used to do a leg drop where he would float. It made Hulk Hogan's leg drop look like bad. And my little brother, her nickname from my dad was "This is my baby Yokozuna," because we were tabatsoi. Tabatsoi
Nice.
means chubby for my English speaking audience, and like just to have like that kind of we felt like a kind sort of kinship with them. And I grew up also with like Samoan friends, so Samoan and Tongan friends, so like having that kind of thing. And like there was like a little bit of a kinship because like we're only like the only brown skin dude people who sort of eat rice and meat for lunch. And then we saw each other from like across the lunchroom, and they're like, oh, okay, those are my usos. And like just that kind of camaraderie as far as like at the lunch table. And because it took me a long while because I moved from like where I was at, which was a Filipino enclave, to a white area, Rancho Cucamonga. And me and my sibling were like the only like really the only Asians at that in the lunchroom back then. So when more people started coming and like I found like other people who were wrestling fans, they also just happened to be either Filipino and also happened to be Samoan or Polynesian. And I just so like when I would like I would say like, yeah, Yokozuna rules, man. He's like big and he could beat all these guys. He beat Hulk Hogan. And like I was excited for him when he won the Royal Rumble and did all that. But because like it's often I didn't even think about it like besides like, oh, this guy sort of looks like me. And then like when I go back now and like I think about it, like who did I really see on TV that sort of looked like me? I guess there was whenever Dante Bosco did a guest appearance on Fresh Prince and hanging with Mr. Cooper. And and Ernie Reyes Jr. But like it's when you happen to see some, and like when I did see them on TV, I was like, okay, I'm watching because Dante Bosco is like the super cool older cousin with like his Letterman jacket, and like he's smooth, and like he's actually has his girlfriend. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. I like because like typically whenever you would see like an Asian person depicted on TV, they'd be like the sexless nerd, or like that's like in Two Broke Girls they'd have that character who's just a weirdo and he has a funny accent. And he of course he's never gonna be attractive to women because look at him, he's a weird he's an other Asian, and he's doesn't fit what should be attractive. And like a lot of this kind of sort of coincides with like some people I know that I grew up with sort of have this sort of disdain for like being Filipino, so they kind of want to like assimilate and like try to be seen less as Filipino. And then so you get like people who call themselves Hawaiian, or some Filipinos who say they identify as Pacific Islander. And like we just recently have JC Mateo join the bloodline, because But I don't think Jeff Cobb is. I don't think he ever called himself a Pacific
Oh,
Islander.
he did.
He did.
No, he is
He is.
because he's from Guam.
He's from Guam. Well, Chamorro, I think that's what they are over there.
He's Chamorro, yeah,
Yeah.
but he's like Chamorro Filipino.
Yeah.
So like, I
It
mean, but
counts.
He doesn't hide it. He
Yeah.
doesn't hide it.
He
'Cause,
doesn't.
like when he would do the indies, like me and Berto gave him a Balut Club shirt, so
Yeah.
he for sure has one, and he like totally appreciated like
Yeah.
he represented for Filipinos totally.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Jeff Cobb's great.
dude, is it freaking New Japan? They had Bushiroad. Okay, I'm gonna count them out. They had Jeff Cobb. They had TJP. They have Robbie Eagles, and then Stardom. They have Syuri. And Syuri for me is like the one of the best wrestlers, my favorite wrestler, and she's half Pinayan. That's cool. That's cool, cause just to have like that kind of representation, even if it's in Japan, before the people who conquered us, we go over there and then they say they give us money, not us as in like us, but us as in our people. Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna buy Jeff Cobb's and Robbie Eagles and TJP stuff. We're gonna pay him because we want to see him over here. That's kind of cool. And like, yeah, when I see like stuff about representation, like, and I think about like stuff as a kid, I didn't really like. I don't really think about that because I grew up in a Filipino enclave because I grew up around like my family all the time. On the weekends, I would always see like people that look like me, and I would only feel sort of like a little bit othered at school, but like I never felt like I had to be, white. I always had to. I always felt like I could be myself. A lot of other people don't have that kind of experience, and I've talked to them, and it's kind of like sad. I think what came out recently was like Shay Mitchell never wanted to reveal her Filipino side, or something, and
Oh, she would talk about it, but then when she would like did an interview, she said she was like Spanish.
yeah,
But like it's a thing.
yeah, it's a
But
thing. Yeah,
like, did I choose to not buy base things afterwards? Probably.
yeah.
Probably.
I mean, her aunt is Leia Salonga. How? That's. But what you gonna do? Some people that's how they deal with self hate, and like I think like that's kind of skipped over a lot, especially nowadays because nowadays we're like all about having pride in yourself, but there's still like a generation of people, like a generation of millennials who kind of grew up with that self hate for like having the dark skin, having the flat nose, and like just not having that, not being what it would be like to be beautiful in America. I'm not sure why, but it's just something that happens to people. And I kind of also see that in pro wrestling, where you always have to fit a box in pro wrestling. You have to have a specific look to become a star. And like, it kind of coincides. And like people that, like, let's say like Mick Foley or like even Big Show, like Andre the Giant. These are like odd looking people that sort of break the mold of like a bodybuilder, sexy swimsuit model like Finn Balor, or like that's what people expect like what a pro wrestler look like, or a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns. That's like the typical look of what makes you a superstar. But like guys to me that kind of like stand out and they're able to like become a star regardless of their look, like a Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. I loved him back in PWG, and it's just like breaking the stereotypes of what is the good aesthetic of what is like a pro wrestler, what is a pro wrestler, what does a pro wrestler top star look like. It's hard because it's so ingrained that you have to be, 6 foot something. You have to have big muscles, and most of the time you're going to be a white man. A couple of times that's broken. Like when The Rock won the title and became the biggest star in the company, we have guys like Batista was so huge for me. See, he was so huge for my cousins that came over from the Philippines because they actually had like a Superman to look at and say like, this guy has the flag on his arm, and I'm going to represent. I like that he's representing for us, and just to have that, it's like we also had like Manny Pacquiao back then, before like all that stuff. He was like a cultural touchstone for the Filipino people, and like to see in sort of combat sports to have that kind of representation Whereas like in the 90s we didn't have anybody, but then in the 2000s we had like superstars. It's like it was pretty jarring for me personally. And I know you skipped that whole period, but like when you came back in, you actually like had guys like you had TJP win the Cruiserweight Classic, um, and like in over in Japan before like you. I know you did an episode with her, but Chris Wolf was over in Japan doing her thing in Stardom, and she was like she wasn't like a big star, but she was like a star for me because I noticed her work and I liked her work. So seeing like Filipinos in the space of pro wrestling now is like pretty normal, which is pretty cool, honestly. Um, and like, so when you were growing up in the '80s, did having representation really matter to you, or was it just
You know, I feel like it did because, I mean, it totally influenced like what I wanted to study and things and what I wrote about when I was in college. Because when I was a kid and every time I would watch TV or like watch a movie, um, I did the thing of like spotting the Asian people or spotting the Filipinos. And like my parents actually, like my dad would always be like, "Oh, in this movie, um, that guy's supposed to be Filipino, but he's not." And it was like, it was that one actor, he was, oh, dude, it's gonna piss me off, so I'm gonna IMDb it right now. Uh, uh, it was Anthony Quinn.
okay?
In He played Andres Bonifacio in a World War II movie, and my dad was
What?
like, "He's supposed to be Filipino." Or like not Andres Bonifacio or some shit like that. Like he
Okay,
played some descendant of him, right,
okay.
in
I
the
was
World
like,
War II movie. And I was like, but he's not Filipino. That dude's big. Like, like you just knew, like, he's not Filipino. But he looked like, brown enough for that era of Hollywood
yeah.
that they let it go.
I
Or like
mean,
when
you had Lou Diamond Phillips play Ricky Valens.
I mean, but it made sense then
Yeah,
too. Like that's like in the 80s. And yes, everybody pointed that out as well. But like that's like an 80s movie, right?
yeah.
Like the movie I'm talking about is from like the 1950s. And
Oh,
so
okay. That's more.
yeah. And so like I am a pop culture junkie in the extreme sense. Like every time I saw an Asian face in a 1950s like studio system Hollywood movie, I glommed onto the movie and would watch it all the time because I saw Asian people on my screen. Like the Elvis movie Girls, Girls, Girls. That movie is Elvis taking care of two little Chinese kids. And they're probably not even Chinese. I bet they're Japanese or something in real life. But that movie, when he's talking about girls and singing about girls, it's like girls of every like color.
Yeah.
And there is a part where there are two Filipinas in there and they're wearing butterfly sleeves and they're dancing with Elvis. And so like these are the things that I lock in my head, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm a kid. I am like probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, watching these old movies on Channel 5 on KTLA because that's what they would always show. And
Heck
so
yeah.
every time I saw an Asian face, I would look out for it and I would file it away somewhere in my head. And it's why I became a film studies major. It's why I did like Asian American like analysis and for like our portrayals in media.
Yeah.
Like, and so it, for me, I would get to say, yeah, like as a kid, even though I didn't know it at the time, it did mean something to me to see like a brown, yellow face,
Yeah.
on my screen. And so it's probably why in wrestling, like I tend to go for the alternative like wrestler type. It's why I love Lita,
Yeah.
right? Because she wasn't a blondie. Um, it's why I like the Bella twins. Like even though they're white passing, right? But they're
Yeah.
not they're
Yeah.
not white. Like so because they're not blonde, right? Like
Yeah.
they're brunettes, and so and it's funny, like it did upset me. Like I wasn't there for it at the time, but the AJ Lee, like Nikki beef that happened, like I probably wouldn't have enjoyed that because there were two like brunettes going at each other. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like I would have been like, no, both be friends. Like I don't like this.
oh man,
Yeah.
they both got problematic on the microphone too, and that was like the PG era, which was kind of weird for them to like. They would attack each other based on like. I don't want to say it
Yeah.
because it's bad. It's
It was,
bad.
it was basically their relationship.
Yeah,
They basically said that they both like that AJ Lee accused Nikki of sleeping her way to like to get what she needed. And it's just like, you
and
know,
then yeah,
that's not something you want to see.
yeah, and they threw it back at her because that was her character. That was AJ's character on TV. Also, was kind of like going to like whoever the GM was, and it was really gross. God,
Yeah.
yeah. When like I think about like that stuff, and then now like I think about like I like it when wrestlers fight about not that when they fight about like I want the title, I want the respect, I want to be the best in my company. That's what I like. I mean, I also like when people are petty and try to like cut each other up and make them bleed, but like when it comes to like that kind of gross stuff, I don't need that in my wrestling. I really don't because it's like I'm watching with like my nieces and my nephews. I don't want them to learn that. Like I'm
Yeah.
watching wrestling. Like
Yeah.
okay, hey guys, come on, look, Uncle loves this stuff. Your uncle loves this, and then like it's that, and then I'm like, no, I don't want them to attach that to like what pro wrestling is. That's why like I when I would put pro wrestling, I'd put on like some old like 90s, 80s stuff, or I put on like what's going on like right now, or like in Japan, because it's like kind of devoid of like having those kind of storylines where people are trading favors for getting, you know, getting pushed, and that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And then um I found the movie that I was talking about. Sorry to like bring it back to that.
Oh
So
no.
I I did remember it. So it's from 1945. The movie is called Back to Bataan. So it starred John Wayne and Anthony Quinn, and Anthony Quinn played Captain Andres Bonifacio.
Wow.
So yeah, so the storyline is where's the tag? I'll just read the log line because like the thing is too long. But it's in 1942 after the
Oh, sorry. Shit.
So we're talking about movies. Back to Bataan. It had John Wayne in it. Um,
yes, and he and Anthony Quinn. Um, and the tag for it is on IMDb. If you look it up, in 1942, after the fall of the Philippines to the Japanese, U.S. Army Colonel Joseph Madden stays behind to organize the local resistance against the Japanese invaders.
that's
And that
pretty
is a movie
cool.
that happened in 1945. So, or yeah, so check it out. It's wild because like there is an amount of yellow washing that's happening because Anthony Quinn is obviously not Filipino.
Mm.
He's I believe like some kind of I don't know, European with like probably some type of Italian Irish thing happening.
Yeah. When you talk about yellow face and brown face, I think it's funny that Joaquin Wild is a part of the LWO, and
Oh, it totally.
and he's not. I don't know if he did a 23andMe and he found he has some Spanish blood in him. I hope he did.
Oh no, I'm pretty
I'm
sure
pretty sure
they
he.
I'm pretty sure they just made him that way because they didn't know how to market Filipinos.
Which is weird because they had TJP, they had Batista, but like I have this thing like for when TJP was there, they didn't like fully utilize him because my cousin writes for the Inquirer, Filipino Inquirer, right? And he had like all these like articles about him, like representing being like the first one of the first cruiserweight champion, and he's of Filipino descent. And then
Mhm.
he never went to Manila whenever they do the big Manila tours. The first time he went to Manila was when he got released from the company, which I find insulting. Like, if this guy because he has a big fan base. It's weird that you wouldn't like try to utilize that. But trying to see like people understand what a Filipino is, because some people still don't know what Filipinos are in 2025. So, are you Mexican? Are you Asian? What are you? Because your last name is,
Well, I know he just did it for the paycheck, so and I
yeah.
get it. Like he's gonna join the LWO faction if that's gonna be like
Um,
giving him a paycheck every day, right?
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, that's all that matters is making the money.
But
Um,
is he a part of the Bullet Club? Yes, because Berto and I gave him a shirt when we made those shirts. Like
yeah.
all these in the 2016 era, like when that was like my return to wrestling, I went to like probably over 100 indie shows in between 2016 and 2020.
Dope.
And every time a Filipino wrestler came through, Berto made a point to give them a Bullet Club shirt. Like
Oh,
it was like his, and I guess my goal to get that shirt in every wrestler's hands. And so like Shotsky, and it was funny because we saw Shotsky at WWE World this year,
yeah,
and she remembered us in the sense of like because Berto paid for the picture meet and greet,
yeah,
and she knew what like back in 2016 she would always pose with like making a like this like a circle with her hand to represent an egg,
yeah,
and so like she remembered, and I waved and was like hey because I didn't take the picture that what just Berto did, but that was
yeah,
kind of dope. um and so like when we saw Joaquin or Jordan, yeah, whatever his name is, we saw him probably at PWG, and
yeah.
we gave him a shirt.
Oh,
Um, and then like what's his name, Benny
uh,
from I don't know. He was on Lucha Underground. We gave him a shirt.
yeah.
We gave
B-boy.
Scott a shirt. Oh, B boy, yeah, there you go. And so every time a Filipino rolled through town, like we always gave them the shirt
That's what's
because
up.
yeah, so because that's what we wanted to do.
Uh,
And you know,
I feel like if you're
he
not
wants
a,
yeah, he wants yeah.
I feel like if you're a if you're a wrestling fan and you're in LA, if you never went to PWG, you're not a real wrestling fan. That's
I
that's
mean,
my
but
gatekeeping. That's my
I didn't
gatekeeping. You were
go
brought to it. It counts.
but I never went to Reseda. So,
Uh,
like, that would also mean that I'm not a part of it
no, I
either.
mean the
I didn't
globe
go to
never
Reseda, I wish.
the globe doesn't exist anymore either. So those
That's
are so you went to a PWG. I don't even know if they're gonna have that anymore. I miss it. I
no,
miss those
I
events.
don't think they will because Excalibur is too busy doing commentary
Yeah.
for AEW, so
Oh
I
man.
don't think he's going to.
He was so nice when you'd go to events and like he'd like greet you like he's come because like Super Dragon would actually work the door without the mask on, and oh,
Yeah.
kayfabe, killing kayfabe. But like he worked the door like selling tickets and like, but like if you're like a regular, they would go and like they say what's up to you. They say, hey man, how are things going? What's up? And like having that personal stuff with like pro wrestling, I don't think they're gonna have that anymore because 2020 killed a lot of things, and one of that for me
I will
was that.
say, though, it did kill a lot of things,
Yeah,
but it is coming back. And will I ever go back? I don't know. I'll be real. I don't know if I'll go back to the indie scene, although Berto has been trying to get me to go. But
yeah,
when in 2023 when WrestleMania was in LA,
yeah.
I went to an indie show. I went to an indie show with Berto and our friend Pingle. We went to the Ukrainian Center to see uh the DDP GCW show, and
Okay,
it was basically another AEW show because like I saw Eddie Kingston in there
yeah,
and all, and I got to see Takeshita, and so and like it was a bunch of New Japan guys, and
yeah,
so like that was the closest thing I got back to like an indie show. That was like 2023. I do miss it, but I also don't miss it in that like the wrestling shows I would go to would be like on Thursdays,
oh
and
yeah.
they wouldn't really start till like 8
Eight,
8:30,
and then they go
and then
past
they wouldn't
midnight.
end till 12, and then by
Yeah,
the time I got home I would be so tired, and I still have to go to work on Friday.
yeah,
So like I'm not sure if I would ever go back to indie life. I mean, also, like, I don't know the indie scene anymore. Like, I don't
yeah.
know who the wrestlers are, but like
I
when
I don't really
yeah,
know
my
either.
peak my picky indie scene, like all my indie guys and girls are all in the pros now.
Yeah.
I I have a cameo from Scorpio Sky
Oh
because Scorpio Sky was like my dude, and I
yeah.
used to see him at bar wrestling all the time. And like it was such a joke with me and my friends. We would do the thing. We would do the he's so attractive. How
Oh
dare he?
yeah.
And then like we would do the thing. I would do the thing of like, oh, so and so is my boyfriend. So like at a Battle of LA 2018, that was the first time I ever saw Shingo Takagi ever
Oh.
wrestle. And I was with Berto and Pingle, and I just remember looking at both of them, and I was like, "Who is this guy? Who is Shingo? Oh my god, that's my boyfriend." And like they like completely laughed. And I was like, "No, no, 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 that's my guy. He's my boyfriend now. Shingo is my boyfriend forever." And he was a part of Noah at the time, so I was like, "I want to start watching Noah."
Mm.
And then when he jumped ship to New Japan, I was like, "Oh, look at this! I don't have to watch Noah anymore. I'm just gonna watch New Japan
Yeah.
because
Just
my other guy Naito is there, so it's
oh yeah.
perfect."
Oh man, I love New Japan. I love Naito. I love Shingo. They're in Los Ingonables. It New Japan was my kind of like happy place, and like it is cool when you see like your guys from the indies, and now they're all the guys that are on TV. Um, I like Scorpio Sky. I went to the same MMA gym as him, so I got up close and personal with him just to tell you that
Nice,
he smells
nice,
good. He smells
nice.
good. No,
I
I
would
wasn't
hope
trying to sniff him, but
I
he
would
smells
hope
good.
so.
Um,
I would hope that he smells good. That's
yeah.
important.
I mean, he looks like you think he looks clean. He does. He's a very clean man. Um,
That's
unlike
good.
and you know what I don't miss about going to the Indies is you find a lot of not clean fans. Um,
Oh, yeah, that's, like so, yeah, that's the gross part about it.
yeah,
There's a lot of people who don't seem to know what deodorant is or
yeah,
showers.
yeah. It's kind and then like when you would go to Reseda, I like everybody. People didn't like going to the Globe, but I liked it because they would turn the AC on. Reseda
Oh,
had no
yeah. I
AC
had I I heard about that, and I was like, "That
yeah,
sounds like hell.
because
That
like
sounds awful."
it was so weird. So like you go on a show like in the summer, so it's like a friggin' it's like an oven. And then in the front row there's Shayna Baszler, there's Ronda Rousey, there's Marina Shafir, and then there's Joe Manganiello and Sofia Vergara in the front row. And it's so weird that they're there with a bunch of these fans. And um yeah, when I saw Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello in person, I was like, oh, we're not the same species.
Oh, right? Like,
Yeah,
they're celebrities are weird.
yeah, I was like, whoa, what is this? They're in a like and like that part of like what I like about those independent shows is it's kind of like you go to like a punk rock show or like a and like you're like shoulder to shoulder with everybody, and you like just have like good big energy. And I always say this, like pro wrestling is best experience live, because when you go to the show you get like an extra feeling because you're around other fans and you get to act like a kid, like it's real. You get like lost in the moment. Um, because like I felt like that when I went to WrestleMania in 2023. I felt like that when I went to AEW this year when they had the show at the Staples Center. Staples Center. I'm never gonna call it Crypto.com Arena. So like yeah, just being able to like to nowadays we see like all these names like a TJP, a Jeff Cobb, a Aaron Solo, what's her name, Caden Carter, Shotzi Blackheart. I'm naming all of them because like I'm proud to see them on TV. It makes me proud to see like my people in some way represented on like something that I love, which is pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like I
You
can't
brought up
describe it.
something about how like girl fans and how like in that attitude era, like a lot of like girls like didn't have like role models, right?
Yeah.
I witnessed something that I knew I would always be a wrestling fan after this one show.
Mm,
Um, it was I think an AWS show, so that's like a was an indie women's wrestling show.
yeah.
Um, and it was Taya. It was Taya Valkyrie. So
Yeah.
like I'm not Taya Valkyrie. You know, Taya. I loved her. I love
Yeah,
her still to this day.
yeah. I think she's in AEW now.
She is in AEW
Yeah,
or ROH right now.
yeah,
But she came out and I had watched her in Lucha Underground, so I was like, I knew what she could do.
yeah,
I knew her story about how she went to Mexico to train. So
yeah,
she was doing her intro and I was sitting behind a little girl. And the
yeah,
little girl was so excited for Taya's intro, like knew her like the song, I forgot what it was,
yeah,
but was singing along and like clapping. And Taya was doing her entrance. And when she before she got to the ring, she went up to the little girl, like hugged her and like gave her like whatever of her stuff.
yeah,
And that girl, her genuine like awe and like just like, oh my God, I was acknowledged by this woman, this
yeah,
wrestler who I'm a fan of. Like the sheer joy and happiness at the little girl's face. And then when she looked up at her dad, like, oh my God, like she saw me, da da da. And like they had that bond.
yeah,
I witnessed it and I was like, this is why wrestling is the best thing in the universe.
yeah,
When you get to watch that happen, I watched magic. Like Taya did magic on that little girl. That little girl is a fan for life of
yeah.
Taya. And she
That,
deserves it because she made that little girl feel like she was special. And I'm like, if that little girl one day becomes a wrestler and like wrestles Taya in like whatever future wrestling promotion is out there, that's amazing. And I know that little girl is probably watching TV right now and she can see Taya on ROH and whatnot. And I was really upset when she like Taya went to NXT and she became Frankie Monet. And I'm like, that's a horrible name. That is not your name, Taya. You're Queen
you're
Wera. Like you're Wera Loca.
right.
I don't like this Frankie Monet. It's no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no. And so I do like that she gets to do like her thing now in ROH, but like witnessing that magic is why wrestling is great and
yeah,
why wrestling is like you got to have different people like people who look different because like that little little Latina girl saw Taya and was like Taya's not Latina, right? But she
yeah.
like obviously
She
represents from
represents.
Mexico
Yeah,
because of her lucha experience and I'm just like that little girl, she's gonna remember that forever and she's
yeah,
probably gonna grow up to be like a luchador or
yeah.
something, you know, like
That,
I'm like fighting for herself. And I love that. Like you can't get that anywhere else.
yeah. I love watching. Like I love watching with my nephews. Like just to like see them like say like get blown away by like somebody doing like a flip or like when they saw like Swerve come out and like he's like the coolest dude with like his coat and like he wins and he beats Ricochet off of like doing some cool stuff. It's just like because my nephews are I sat next to this kid also he was like half black half Asian and when he saw like Takeshita he's like I want Takeshita to win because he's Japanese like me and then he said I want Swerve to win because he's black like me I was like oh oh
Oh,
my God this rules then like
yeah.
I like just to like see like it from like that kid's point of view and like he's like finding people that look like him and people in his family is like and he's saying that guy represents me and like that's cool that's so cool and like
Oh, that's important.
that's yeah it
You know, you
rules
know what's funny? My first WWE show was actually No Mercy in
uh
2016, 2017 when it was in LA.
yeah
And that is when John Cena put over Roman.
oh
Um,
yeah
and like that was when Roman was getting his first push as the to
yeah
be the guy. And but Roman lost. Roman lost at that No Mercy.
yeah
There were all these kids, these little brown kids, these little, like probably Samoan,
yeah
Pacifica, Tongan kids pissed off.
yeah
They were so upset that Roman
bro
lost. And I didn't know it at the time because I was still new. I was new to WWE. And I actually did like Roman. Like I didn't understand the heat that he
yeah
was getting at
he
the time.
he could wrestle and
Yeah.
he,
But but it was John Cena, right? And
yeah
it's John Cena,
who
like,
else but
you
John
know,
Cena
John Cena. And but that's the weird thing at that show, it wasn't on TV. It was a private, this wasn't a preview, this was like a off air.
yeah
John Cena put Roman over. Like
yeah
on the mic, he like put him over. And I just remember going, oh, okay, yeah, Roman's not that bad. Like it's fine. Like
yeah
but all these little kids, these little brown boys, I will never forget it. They were so upset Roman
dude
lost. And I'm like, oh, see, it does mean something.
yeah
Like these I mean, it's sad to say that, like, Pacifica boys only have, like, wrestlers and football players to look up to, like, like, can't you have another type of role model?
Yeah.
But it's also, like, you're gonna get what you get, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna, like, enjoy what you have, and, like, for a lot of us, that's I will be the Sami Zayn in their Uso family, I'll be the Ginger Uso. I mean, like, it's totally okay with that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Because like Sami also represents, Muslims. He's a
Yes,
Syrian, and
Syrian.
like when he gets called white, it really pisses him off because he was never treated like he was white. So it's like a whole thing. And like you went to WrestleMania 2023 at WrestleMania 39. You saw how many people are wearing like
Yes.
the freaking the bloodline gear. So many
Yeah.
people in the bloodline shirts. Everybody throwing up the ones, all these brown faces, because like we're in LA, you know, he's
Yes,
brown
yes,
hands.
but also, I still hated it.
Yeah.
I still hated it. That that WWE experience was, like, I'm not gonna lie, the worst. The only thing about that of WrestleMania
I
39 that
hated
I thought
parking
was a
there.
positive was, that Kevin and Sammy won.
Oh, that first
That was
night.
night 1.
Oh
That was
man,
night 1.
that match was so amazing, and they had the PWG gorilla on their pants, and I
Yes.
was like, y'all are back home. Y'all are LA. This
But then
is
but then but then night 2 happened, and then I was bewildered, and then my friends who I was with were like, You wanna feel what it's like to see 50,000 disappointed people? It's this room right now," and I was like, "I'm so
I
angry."
I
Like, I was so
I,
upset.
I was happy. I was happy. I
I
threw up
know,
the
there
one.
were a lot of
I
people
threw up
who
the
were
one.
happy. I did not,
We the ones.
because 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 Cody was my guy, because
Yeah.
I watched him leave. I came back to wrestling in 2016, right? So in
Yeah.
2016, who joined New Japan? But Cody. And I was a fan of the Elite. Like,
Yeah.
I watched the BTEs every week. I knew all the stories. Like,
Yeah.
I was there when Chris Wolf was filming with, Fallen Angel himself at bar wrestling shows. Like, I remember all these things. So Cody, like, seeing him come back to the company and just be like, this is gonna be it. He's gonna win it for Dusty. And then I was just like, oh, this is not it. They're setting up a 2-year story. I have to wait another year before
Yeah.
he gets this fucking
I mean,
title.
at least he
And
got
it's
it.
exactly what happened. He did get it, and I was very happy.
Yeah.
But then when I went to WrestleMania this year, I realized, oh no, I am with the same 2 guys who I went to WrestleMania last time. And I'm like, oh, we're going to WrestleMania. And Cody's on the main card. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose today. Cause last time we were here, he lost.
Ugh.
And then when we were watching WrestleMania, we saw his whole family there. I was just like, oh shit, his mom's here. And then I was like, oh no, oh no. I was just like, oh, -1's here. Oh
Yeah.
no. Like,
It's a
and then
replay.
when they show the when they show the bus, and I'm like, Chris Bay is on the bus with them. I just looked at my friends. I'm like, he's losing. He's losing today. It's not happening for him. And my friends are like, yup, yup. That's exactly. And then we watch. I'm not gonna lie. When we were watching, I still was happy because I knew that was he was gonna lose, and I knew that was the point of the story, and I laughed maniacally the whole
Uh,
time
yeah.
because John Cena as a heel is hilarious. I love it so much. The crowd kind of like
They were
the
cheering
crowd did
him.
not deflate. They didn't deflate like
Yeah.
they did at SoFi. It was yes, they were chanting, "You can't wrestle." Yes, they were like antagonizing John Cena,
Yeah.
but the crowd still wanted him to win.
It doesn't make sense for him to be a bad guy in his retirement year. For me, like
I love it.
but like it's fun to see him do this side of him that like he hasn't done this like in 20 years, and like it's like all that he comes here, he's like he's being the most antagonizing man in the world, and like he finally went to Turkey, got that new hair,
See that?
He's
It's
thriving.
only in the front. It's only in the front.
That bald spot
It's
at the
still
back.
in the back. It's still in the back. He's still got an O in his farmer
Yeah.
tuck hair.
Well, like when we know like he's going to like take another break, that's what's gonna happen. They got to fill out the back. Maybe they're like, man, like it, it's it's fun. This is what's fun in wrestling. It's the funniness, the silliness, the goofiness about it. Also, that's what appeals to me about it. Cause like you're saying, you're laughing when John Cena's beating your guy. Like
Yeah,
what else?
no.
What else are you watching that you're gonna be actually laughing about that kind of thing? And like
And it
me,
was funny when I was watching it, and then like Cody would get like his lick back, and he would just make moves, and it'd be like false finish, and Cody would come back. I'd be like, yeah, I would cheer for Cody because like Cody's my guy, right?
yeah,
I'm not gonna turn my back on my guy. And the dudes around me were like, no, don't cheer for him. And I was like, look, I'm cheering for both guys.
yeah,
This is just gonna be a fun
yeah,
night. Like this, and it was a fun night. Like it
yeah,
was a fun experience
yeah.
witnessing that live.
Yeah, my sister and my cousin went to that, and that was the match that they most enjoyed of that WrestleMania. Like when people like review I don't know why people review shows. It's like, this is you either like it or you don't like it. I don't know why people have to have like a move by move breakdown of everything, but I think like WWE was successful in what show they were trying to make, and the crowd went home
Oh,
happy
it
in
was
my
great. It
estimation.
was great. It
Yeah.
was a great show. My one disappointment was like there was all this buildup and like The Rock was supposed to be the final boss and he never even showed. And then he did that whole like after the show was over, he talked about how like I would have done this way. And I'm like, bro, you weren't even there. Like I was fully expecting you to come out because that was going to be my
Yeah.
highlight was that I actually got to see The Rock perform as a
Uh,
wrestler because I didn't see him perform as a wrestler because
yeah.
like Attitude Era, like it didn't happen for me.
Yeah.
Like so, I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna see The Rock, and then he wasn't there, and I was like, what the hell, you weren't there? But your pomade, like your body washes were at WWE World, but you weren't there. Like I was so confused. I thought he was gonna be there, and I was
Yeah.
so sad that he wasn't.
Hey, he like they already said that he was doing like reshoots for Moana live action. So like I didn't even like believe he was gonna show up. But I mean, like there's a chance, like he just takes a day, flies there, and then flies because Vegas and Hawaii is not that long of a flight. But yeah. It's just funny to he doesn't show up on the show, but he shows up via satellite, and that was the whole thing. Via satellite rock is funny. Um, it's just this stuff. What I love about pro wrestling is even now you find joy in it. And like if you're like a fan from back in the day or a fan from like 10 years ago or a fan now, there's always like these memories that come back that like make you happy when you think about it. Like, when you see Cody, you think about all the time you saw him rise up from New Japan, Ring of Honor, AEW, and now he became the man in WWE. And like that's a good feeling to see your guy finally make it like as the man. Um, and
So I want to share something like very important about the past like 2 years when it comes to WrestleMania, like this past WrestleMania show.
yeah.
So in 2023, when I was at WrestleMania, it was one of the worst. That WrestleMania weekend was the beginning of the worst week of my life.
Oof.
My mom was actually put on hospice the day of WrestleMania, like the first day. And
Wow.
so, and then that would be her last week on this earth. So WrestleMania 2023 has a lot of bad attachments to it. Also, the fact that Cody lost in such stunning fashion,
Yo.
right? Like it was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
So when WrestleMania came back to the West Coast and it was going to be in Vegas, I was like, you know what? I want to redo WrestleMania, and I have to do it with my two guys that were there, and then plus one more, like another wrestling friend came. And so when I went to WrestleMania this time around, I was like, you know what? Like my mom is no longer with us, but I now get to enjoy WrestleMania to the fullest of my ability. Like my headspace in 2023, I was all over the place. I was thinking about my mom. I was worrying about her health. I was thinking about making other family arrangements.
Yeah.
2025, I got to enjoy the show. I got to just also I was a crazy person and I sat on the floor. I paid for floor seats for me and my friends to go.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
I thought because like when I bought tickets, I thought that I wouldn't be able to get the cheaper seats. And so I was like, oh, I have to get these seats. So I got floor tickets and I was like, you know what, this is happening. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. Also, I'm never gonna go to the show ever again. Like
Yeah.
I knew that this was gonna be my final my final dance when it comes to it because I wanted to relive the show with the two guys who were with me during the worst time of my life,
Mm.
and plus one, and then I got to redo that show with those guys, and we got to have fun, not be like I wasn't like super distracted, and that is also why I enjoyed it so much
That's
because like I got to redo 2023 WrestleMania with my friends and then create a happy memory attached to the show. Cuz I will admit prior to that like WrestleMania had this really bad stain in
mm.
my existence cuz I was like
Yeah.
oh, I hate the show. Like it happened when my mom was dying and then also like what the hell, Cody? I wanted Cody to win. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, I will say like that is why I think WrestleMania and like why I do love wrestling because um like 2016 and on like to 2020 before like the pause, the great pause, wrestling really was my saving grace when I
Yeah.
was depressed, when I was like having a rough day. Like there would be times where I was having a really rough time at work and the only thing I had to look forward to was that it was a Thursday night and I was going to be driving all the way to Irwindale to like Fontana to I would be going to that VFW to watch bar wrestling
Yeah.
and watch all with my friends and
Yeah.
just like watch, and just like take my mind off of the stress and like, given how crappy the current state of the world is, I do appreciate that wrestling right now is fun.
Yeah.
That the storylines are like, I will like, am I watching week to week? Absolutely not. Do I
Mm.
keep up on YouTube? Probably. Am I disappointed in AEW? Yes,
Yeah.
but also, like, it's par for the course, right? Like, at the end of the day, these promotions are run by billionaires who are, like, just creating their own stories,
Yeah.
and so now Tony Khan gets to do it, and he was basically an indie mark for the longest time, but now he's no longer an indie mark, like,
Now he
he's the
gets to book his WWE toys on top.
Yes, exactly, and
Um,
so, that's kind of it kinda sucks, but also, like, I'm gonna just roll with it because, it is what it is, and I do get to occasionally still see some of my indie toys,
yeah.
and now these days I'm, like, learning new stuff because, like, I mean, it's not new, but because like, Tony Storm is
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh
Like,
man.
I love everything she's doing. Timeless Tony is my one of my favorite characters out there right now. Like, the
Tits out.
woman keeps tits out. I was like, "Yes, she's insane." I love it. And her man Juice, like, I love
Uh,
Juice. I want Bang Bang Club to come back.
I,
I know that they
I
needed to take a break.
yeah.
Juice is so funny.
I forgot
Juice
one of
is
my
hilarious.
AKAs. One of my AKAs is the stray balut.
Oh, nice.
But
Nice.
I just like, yeah, there's people at AEW that I'm an absolute big fan of. I love Takeshita, I love Swerve, I love Hangman. I'm saying I love a lot. You know, I do like the Hurt Business because like, I those are like my guys from when I was young. Like Shelton and Bobby Lashley, those are two of my guys when I
Yeah.
was younger. So seeing
I
them,
love
it's
Shelton.
crazy.
I love Shelton because he was a part of Suzuki Gun, and
Yeah,
anybody that's attached to
that's
my husband, Minoru, is here for me. I love him to death. Murder Grandpa is my favorite,
yeah.
especially because Murder Grandpa was way hot when he was young. If
Oh,
you look
yeah,
his young days when he had that luscious hair and those cheekbones. Oh my god.
yeah,
I still to this day I'm like
yeah.
I want to get this one t-shirt of young him, young Minoru. I was like, oh my god, he was so
You,
beautiful.
I'll send you a website. I know this guy who makes like old like shirts with like young Minoru from when he was in Pancrase, with that hair slicked back
Oh,
there with the jeans.
he was so disgustingly beautiful when
Uh,
he was in
it's on
Pancrase.
it's unfair now. Like he's Tito Mino. Like
Oh, but I love him. I love him.
yo
I have
yo
whenever I've seen him live, because I have seen him live. I
yeah,
love that I can say that. I have shouted
it's
Cousin
cousin
Ninoy
Ninoy,
like so
dude.
hard. I was like, this is the best experience of my life. I
Yeah,
love
dude.
it.
When I saw him like in Long when New Japan would go to Long Beach and he'd come out,
Yes.
I shouted my
Yes.
like when Naito came out, I was doing Naito.
Ah,
I love New Japan. That's
I
my
love it.
thing.
I love that era.
Yeah.
Except when they changed the belt to that ugly piece of shit.
Oh,
Like
that
that is the worst looking
good
belt
God.
now. But I don't understand
Why?
why they did that. They had the most beautiful belt. The IWGP heavyweight
V4.
title is
Yeah.
the most beautiful belt I've ever seen. It's the one, if I were to ever buy a replica belt, if I were to ever do it, it would
They,
be the
they,
IWGP heavyweight title.
they still
Um,
sell it at the merch table. They're still
It's
selling
so
it.
expensive though. They
Yeah.
still sell it. It's just insane.
Yeah,
And I
because
will never buy a title because it's too
they
expensive.
still sell it because they know everybody wants that one. They sell that replica. They don't sell replicas of the new belt. Let me
The
say.
new one is disgusting. I hate that belt. It looks like a butterfly. I don't
Yeah,
like it. It's
it looks like
disgusting.
the
I
Divas
hate it.
title. That's what people
I
compare it
hate
to.
that belt. No, and it totally does. And I hate it. I hate that belt. I hate it
Oh
so much.
man. Like when they're like it's kind of sad that it's Tanahashi's last year because I mean it's not sad. He's the right age. He's the president now. So it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like funny how John Cena and Tanahashi like
Are retiring at the same
the
time.
Japanese
Yeah.
big good guy and
The
the
Japanese
American big
John Cena is
yeah
basically retiring
at the same
when
time.
John Cena's retiring. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what would be cool is if at Wrestle Kingdom next year for Tanahashi's last match is if you hear you can't see me. I would
I
love that.
I would love that.
I
I
would love
if
that.
I could see that, that would be a true dream match
Yeah,
if I could see that happen.
like John Cena's last match is supposed to be like in December. I don't know if I want to go to it, but I kind of want to. Like I kind of sad like I didn't go to his last WrestleMania if that is his last WrestleMania, because like I was big on him. I was big on him on Batista when I was like in my when I was 20. So those are the guys, and it's kind of like and then like I also loved Tanahashi back then too because I was watching New Japan when it was like in its down period, and to see it go from like basically like doing buildings as small as Reseda to like going back up to building the Tokyo Dome again, and it was because of Tanahashi. That was cool. Um,
Right?
yeah, there's lore like that also if you're a wrestling fan, that kind of stuff matters to you. Like having
No,
the
it
this it's
does.
so weird that that's what matters to you. Like, oh yeah, they're selling all these tickets, they're rebuilding the business, and like it's like that's kind of important for me, like to be as part of a fan, like and seeing like what Cody, the Young Bucks,
Yeah.
Jericho, what they did. They created AEW so that more wrestlers could have more places to work, and that's you need that. I like
Yeah,
that.
no, like wrestling right now is fun because like there's competition and like you
You
get to
don't know
see
who's
these
gonna
guys.
show up. That's what I
Yeah,
like too.
I
It's
love
kind of
it.
like how it was in the 90s. You don't know what wrestler's going to show up in New Japan, what wrestler's going to show up in AEW, what wrestler's going to show up in WWE. And it's just like it's exciting. It's exciting, and I like that. And I think the Young Bucks, Cody, Jericho, and Kenny Omega, and and Tony Khan for making that possible. And I like that we're seeing WWE hiring these guys. Like hiring a Jeff Cobb like straight out of New Japan and hiring the Tamatanga and Tangaloa and like putting them like in Jacob Fatu, putting them in the storyline. Because as much as like Cody was the man, the storyline of WWE is still the bloodline,
Yeah,
which
no. They can't let that go. It's just good.
oh man, that and I love Jacob Fatu and like his story and how much he reps Bay Area. Like it's ridiculous how Bay Area that dude is. Yeah,
I mean, their whole family. That
their whole
just makes it.
family, they're all Bay Area. Like, because some people like just say they're acting like they're black, which I mean is kind of a thing ish. But like, if
No,
you're
they're
they're acting
just Samoan.
Samoan,
They're just
they're all
Samoan.
just Samoan.
They're not act. They're just acting Samoan.
They're all acting Samoan. Like, I have so many Usos that are like the Usos. Like, you got like Jay and Jimmy and Jacob and Roman, those are all like real, those are real 100%
That's
Usos.
that's how people. No, that's how the culture is. Like
Yeah,
it's not a thing. It's not
yeah.
anything to
Because
scoff at.
I
Yeah.
mean, because like I heard like a podcast, like because these guys are from the South, they don't have the idea of like what it means to be Samoan because they think like these dudes are stealing black culture to benefit themselves, and it's more, how do you say, palatable for the black culture to come off of a brown skinned man than a black skinned man. But I'm like, these dudes are representing their culture, their people. That's Oakland, that's Sacramento, that's Long Beach. Those are dudes who really exist in my real life. Um, and like it's cool to see that on TV and see them represented, and it's cool to see brown skinned guys stand at the top of the business. And when have that,
Yeah.
all these brown men on top, and important, and like I think that's commendable for like whatever you got to say about Triple H saying he's colorblind, but he knows where the money is, and that's in the bloodline and the bloodline merchandise. And I feel like further down the line, I think my strong prediction is Jacob Fatu is going to be the guy that beats John Cena. That's what I want. That's personally what I want because
Oh.
there's no one else on the roster that sort of like has that edge to them and has that like blue collar appeal. I mean, Jay does, like he's so popular. When I went to Disneyland like the past couple times, I saw so many little kids dressed as Jay Uso with the Yeet sunglasses and the Yeet
Oh.
shirt. It's like, and like they had like this, they had the Caesar haircut too. But
Wow.
like I mean like, hey yo, so like I mean if you're gonna do the John Jay Uso, you gotta go all in.
Yeah, you gotta exactly.
Get the Caesar, get the blue hair dye. Like I was like, oh, that's cool. Like just to see like these kids like just walk around like these brown kids like they have their guy, and like
Yeah.
it's cool that like it's Yeet, and like he's one of the guys. And like I try to explain like when I go into like these wrestling spaces like on Discord, like whenever you go like on a Discord and it's a wrestling space, it's always like a white dominated space where they make fun of like, oh, he's not a good wrestler. What's the point of him being? I was like, the point is like people who look like me, kids who look like me, having a hero to look up to who's selling so many shirts and getting 50,000 people up and yeeting. Because I saw WrestleMania, I saw all those people yeeting for Jey Uso. Like that's what he brings, and like he brings an energy to the crowd. I love that.
No,
I
for
love that
sure.
stuff.
No, I didn't. I mean, there's always going to be like a certain sense of like racism and whatnot
Yeah,
when it comes to like to wrestlers of color. I mean, the same thing goes for like Naomi. Like,
yeah,
she got her push, right? She got her SmackDown strap.
yeah,
But she is always so over.
yeah.
Like
That
when
crowd.
she is like the crowd loves her. She is like so like the glow. Oh my god, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like if they had a rep of the glow belt, like personally of the WWE belts, I wanted her glow belt and I wanted the Daniel Bryan
The
eco
wooden.
belt. That
Oh,
shit that shit looks so good.
that
I would have
was
bought that.
put
If
that
they
on your
sold that,
mantle.
that burlap sack, oh my god,
Yeah,
the wood I was like,
yeah,
I want that.
yeah,
Why aren't they selling that? I would have bought that in a heartbeat.
yeah.
But they
That,
never sold
Bri-
it. But yeah,
Brian was my guy. Like Brian is my favorite wrestler of all time. So like I saw him when he started in PWG like 2003, 2004, and to see him go from that to WrestleMania, and then
I
that's
love his
crazy.
story. Like
That's
his
crazy.
story is so good. It
Yeah.
is he like
I also love his
all he's
book.
got is amazing.
If you read his book, it's actually,
Did I read his book? I don't remember if I read his book.
yeah. His book is so good because like during that time of WrestleMania, his dad was actually going through was like his dad was in hospice. So like when he won the belt, I think like when he won the belt, like he was on vacation, then like his dad passed away or something. But like the
Hmm.
whole time, like he's like motivated to, and like there's also that story about the Connor McKayla kid because he would the Connor's Cure kid, like his favorite wrestler is Daniel Bryan, and like he was in the front row to see that happen, and then like, later on that year he passed away. And like you hear like you feel like all these like stories, and you're like, man, this is what wrestling means to people. It's like it like hits you in the heart, and like it like you don't get that with anything else. Like like I know I saw like Robert Downey Jr. meet a kid like as Iron Man with whatever, but like when you see when the kids meet like John Cena or meet Brian or meet like Randy Orton or meet like Roman or meet like The Rock, and like you see like these sick kids who went through like everything and what they all wanted in life is just to meet their hero, and then they get to meet their hero and it's everything they wanted.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Like that's what you want out of wrestling. Like all the stuff, the politics, and even though, like all the politics of WWE, that PR week, I kind of put that outside my head because like whatever, because
Yeah.
they seem to have ran away from that now. So it's like just like I always want to think about the good stuff, like because um, wrestling to me is a feeling of, it's something I shared with my mom. My mom passed away in 2018. It was because she went on vacation in the Philippines, and like I didn't I didn't really get to say goodbye to her, and I know her death was painful because she did because I talked to her like in on like on FaceTime, but then I went to take a shower, and then when she came back, my dad called my uncle. My uncle let out a cry like Apay, Apay. Like I was like, what happened? And then like I got the shower, my uncle's like, Balong, I'm sorry. And then, like I remember like when I heard my mom die, I threw myself, like it was like spiraling, and like the thing that kind of saved me was, I had bought tickets to like the War Games, NXT War Games, and like getting my
Mm.
mind off of this stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like that helped that helped me like as far as just like getting away from like the crying and just like getting lost in it. And again, like this year, like my cousin's mom died of cancer. It was a really tough battle. We bought the tickets beforehand, and
Mm.
like he was supposed to like go like out with her like on like an errand, and then she had died the night before. And then I just told him like, hey, yo, Ading, like come with me. We'll still go to AEW. We just gotta you just gotta like,
You got to take
just
your
come with
mind
me.
off of
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure.
so like wrestling to me has been like healing. As
Yeah.
as like weird as that sounds, like there's a healing to it where like I'm watching something, I could like let go, I could like I could be nostalgic and like remember like my mom being so excited that Bob Backlund was going to be in the Royal Rumble. and
Yeah.
like and like just it's just it's a feeling of like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel
No,
like
no,
her
I get
presence,
it. I get it. I get it. It's like, you know, it's it's that for you, like, it was that distraction because you needed to find, like, a bit of joy, right,
Yeah,
in the darkness, and, like, it is that for so many people, but it's also that little girl, right, who's
yeah,
getting inspiration to be like that to be
oh yeah,
strong like Taya, and so, like, wrestling gives you that. It's the only art form, like, athletic art form that can do that. It has, like, the flair of theater, but the athleticism of, like, gymnastics and
yeah,
boxing and UFC and,
yeah,
all these things, and so it's just it gives you all of those things, and, like, you can't explain what it's like to be at a live show, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
You
yeah, it's
just gotta
fun on
go.
TV, but you have to go to a live
Yeah,
show because I think that's when people get like, "Why are you so into this?" And it's like,
yeah,
you need to go to a live show because I
yeah,
think then you will see, like, what like, what it means to us because, like, it does mean something,
yeah.
you
When
know?
when I took my wife to SummerSlam, their first SummerSlam, cause she was like a skeptic, like, okay, we watched. Wouldn't you rather sit and watch this at home and be comfortable? And then when we watched it live, she saw Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. She was way into the John Cena Bryan match, and then at the end, her favorite wrestler in the world, Randy Orton, comes out and wins the world title. from my favorite wrestler, and she's rubbing it in my face like, oh, my guy won. He beat your guy. And I'm like, okay. And like, that's the beauty of pro wrestling. You could be something
No,
small,
totally.
it could be something
Totally.
big. And like it's just like when wrestling is good, you're happy about it. And I know like I'm not really watching weekly right now, but I do watch like stuff that like makes me happy. I know that's what you said you're doing, and like
Yeah.
when people are wrestling fans, I feel like they're always like wrestling fans, even if they're not watching what's currently going on. When they remember those memories of what did light that fire on them under them as a fan, that always brings it back like them going back to like and marking out and cheering and just like remembering all these things. It's and that's the beauty of pro wrestling that you don't get from anything. I mean, I guess I kind of got that when I watched magic shows live in Las Vegas to see the illusion,
Mm,
but there's nothing like cheering with the crowd or booing with the crowd and being
yeah.
in that
Like,
moment.
it's one of those things like when you watch like Rocky, like a Rocky movie, right?
Yeah.
Like the crowd, like I remember being a kid going, who's really yelling boo and like yay at a boxing match, like that doesn't happen. That's just in the movies. But then you go to a wrestling show and like, no, you are yelling boo. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
are yelling yay. Because
Yeah.
you want the baby face to win and you want the heel to lose.
Yeah.
And and then when you become a mature wrestling fan, you realize you just want heels to win. Fun.
Because taking shortcuts and being sneaky is fun. It's funny.
It's
You like seeing that.
funny. It's great.
Yeah, God, I'm like so happy I'm having this discussion with you, because like every time like you'd make like these like slight references to wrestling on like the main show, and I'd be like, oh, she's a fan. She's a real fan. I'm
Oh.
like,
I'm such a nerd. That's why.
yeah, hey, yeah, like, um, because like I feel like the things about wrestling that appeal to like Filipino people is the thing that appeals to everybody. Showmanship, the costumes, uh, the production value, like just having that stage. Because what's our national sport? Miss Universe. So when they come out on that stage, it's like when they come out on that big WrestleMania stage for their entrances. So it's just like, of
I mean,
course,
yes,
all this pomp and
yes.
circumstance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are true. You have said correct statements.
Yeah, and like it's just it's a wonderful feeling whenever I talk with somebody and I see like the spark in their eyes when they're talking about something that they love. And in this instance, it's we're talking about wrestling because this woman is like laughing, like having like just like she has a glow to her, and like just describing that to the audience. And it's just like you feel the love of what she's talking about. You feel the love in like your voice, and it's excellent, and it makes me
Aw,
feel
thanks,
better.
dude.
Yeah, dude. It's
No, and like, it's one of the things. Like, I will say, wrestling has made me a lot of friends in like random places
ah
because if you recognize like a fellow wrestling fan, like a brethren, a brother, if you will,
yeah.
um, I like this happened to me when I was in Seattle.
Mm.
Um, Mike and I were just like there for a vacation. We went to the Sub Pop store, like Sub Pop, the record label, and the guy at the Sub Pop store had a Los Ingobernables shirt with the Statue of Liberty. So he went to the Madison Garden
Oh man,
WrestleMania, that show, right?
that's
And
such
I was
a
just like,
epic show.
it was very specific too, right? Like
Yeah.
only specific nerds are gonna get the reference. So Mike is paying for his records, and I was like, were you in Madison Garden for New Jersey? Like I totally like marked out on it. And the guy's like, yes. Oh my God, you know who this is? Because most people don't know who Los Ingobernables is.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, no, I love LIJ. Like Naito is my guy. Like I was just like,
Yeah.
it was right. I think like Naito was like, 2 belts at the time. And so I totally bonded with that guy. And he was like, oh, how long are you in town? You should go to this one bar. It's like a wrestling bar. And like there's this indie show. And I was like, I'm not here long enough. And I did look up wrestling shows, but it said it was in Tacoma. And that seems very far. And it was very far.
Yeah.
But the guy, like that type of shit, like you only get over like the love of like wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes I will hear people chattering. Like I remember we were at Fan Fest and I heard some dudes talking because it was when I went to Fan Fest, it was a New Japan Resurgence. So there was a show happening. And I heard these guys talking about like, yeah, the Young Bucks, blah, 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 Bullet, like they're talking about Bullet Club. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then I checked my phone on Instagram and I was like, oh shit. And then it was like, because what's their names? Like
Technical difficulties. I want to thank you for coming onto my show. I enjoyed every second of it. I enjoyed hearing your stories and I enjoyed you sharing your story with me. And I think like one of the stories that you did and one of the podcasts that I did listen to was you and producer Mike going back home to the Philippines, I think. And you went over that in your episode about like what was it about going home that kind of like hit for you? How did that hit for you going home after not going there for I believe you said you haven't been there since you were a kid, right?
Oh, I'd never been there, period.
Yeah, you were born you were there in your mom's stomach, but you came over here. Yeah, I think that was the story.
Yeah, no, it was an experience for sure. Like I just appreciated how much it felt like home, even though it was a place like I had like never been to. And I think that is something that I didn't fully understand was going to happen, even though like a lot of my friends said like that would be the case. And I was like, you know what? I get it now. Like it makes like, it all just makes sense. Like, and then I appreciated that like, I didn't get the culture shock that a lot of other people tend to get, but it might be because like, I also just am, I don't want to like, I'm not going to say like, it's weird. Like I'm in tune with a lot of my Filipino cultural like history and like stuff. So it doesn't like, I don't get freaked out about certain things or like trip out, but like, certain things happen. Like for the most part, I would just get upset that the fighting cocks kept like going off at like 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, like that, but I think anybody would find that utterly annoying and irritating. So
yeah, that does happen. And like what my cousin talked about, like he said like he felt like it was sort of life-changing for him, and like I kind of get that point of it being you go to a new country, but like everybody looks like you, but not everybody speaks the same language as you. So
yes.
That's like, even like you go to different provinces and all of a sudden they're not speaking the language that you know. Because I know Mike, he speaks like a different dialect. He doesn't speak Tagalog. He speaks like I guess his parents were raised him with like a different dialect.
Yeah, they speak Haligaynon, so they speak like a different a different language.
Yeah. And,
which is like Bisaya, but like for me that it is weird because like my parents spoke Tagalog and Bisaya. So like when I was in Mike's province, I was surprised at how much I did understand though, because Haligaynon or like Ilonggo is like it's like a subset of Bisaya, so I still was able to like follow the conversations.
My family speaks Ilocano. My mom is from like the Zambales region where it was right next to Ilocos. So all of her family speaks Ilocano. My family speaks Ilocano, and yeah. My other questions are like, because I always talk about food. I know I don't didn't talk about food in this whole show except for right now, but like, we I talk about places like Amboy, like La Cita, those kind of like Filipino like places where like they're kind of using ingredients and then they're putting it in their own like spin on it. But what is some of your recommendations for Filipino food in LA for people who would come here and look for that?
Oh, so if you want to like eat Filipino food,
Yeah,
like what the spots I would recommend?
yeah.
Okay, so I got a lot though.
Shout as many out as you want. That I
Well,
want my
for sure the Park's Finest,
oh
their
yeah.
family. It's like Filipino infused barbecue, so it's not like traditionally going to feel like Filipino food, but it is delicious. Mama Lea's cocoa beef is like the best thing since sliced bread. I like love it, and I always try and get that. The cornbread pabinka is, I will snack on that all day. So it's also great. Um, the bar next door is called Thunderbolt LA. They serve really delicious food. It's not Filipino per se, but like John Eric's a part of the team there. So I do encourage folks to check Thunderbolt LA out. They also have excellent drinks. It's like one of my most favorite bars in the city. Parking is rough, but it is worth it. I will say that it is worth it if you go. And then La Cita in Chinatown is also very, very good. I love La Cita. The pancit is delicious. It's fire. They have a great lechon kawali. Um, I can't talk enough about their like the wine menu there is also legit. They have a great sommelier. Whoever is doing that over there is choosing excellent wines. Um, so definitely recommend La Cita. Um, Cafe 86. I love Ginger. I love the things she puts out. Um, it's funny. I love Ginger, and I know her thing is ube. I hate ube, but I will say this: I love Ginger's ube truffle. Like it is like I am diabetic, so it is. I cannot eat a lot of it, but it is amazing. And she has a like her halo halo. I said this for the longest time. It's like my favorite halo halo in the city. And the reason being is because it doesn't have beans. It's like anti halo halo, and I don't like beans. I don't like beans in my halo halo. I always never
Oh
eat it. I like the jellies, and she always
yeah.
has jellies.
Yeah, I hate
Um,
the beans. When my wife's mad at me, she mixes the beans at the bottom to piss me off because she knows I hate
oh
those like hard red
no,
beans because she likes
no,
it. She likes
I
red
cannot.
beans. uh,
I,
I
I I am not. No.
yeah, I'm not a fan of the red bean. I love it. I love the jellies. I always say no beans, please. Um, yeah, that's a good recommendation. And like I also asked like, what's your favorite like sweet and like your dessert? It doesn't have to be Filipino. Just your favorite dessert.
Oh, my favorite dessert. Let me. Oh shit! I don't know what's my favorite. I mean, ice cream's always good. Like Thrifty's ice cream, chocolate malted crunch for life. Like even though Rite Aid is apparently disappearing in this area, but like I feel like Thrifty will live forever because that's nostalgia for me. Like I love a chocolate malted crunch, pistachio nut, coconut, pineapple coconut.
Hell
Ice
yeah.
cream. Ice cream is always good. I also love cake. I am a cake fan. I love a good sheet cake from a grocery store, like a Vons sheet cake, a Costco sheet cake. You cannot go wrong. Can't go wrong with a sheet cake. That's always delicious. And I'm a Disneyland. Like I've had an annual pass Magic Key for many, 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 many years. So I love a Disney churro. I love Disney popcorn. I would say my go-to really is like popcorn. That's my favorite snack of all time.
Oh yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. I those are great choices. And like finally, like what do you want your rainbow to say?
My rainbow? I get a rainbow?
Yeah, if like you had a
Uh,
rainbow, if you had something to like, you have a rainbow appear in the sky to get a message from Elaine, what is it gonna say?
it's gonna say, I forgot his name. Is a man from Texas who held a very prolific sign at an AEW show that people are making money off of that he doesn't have anymore. That like I don't know. I think I'm friends with him on Instagram. But it's like pro women, pro science, pro wrestling.
Oh hell yeah! To quote another man from Texas, who's not that good of a man, but just to say, "Oh hell yeah," and like that, that's a wonderful message. Pro women, pro science, pro wrestling. That's an excellent message, and I want to thank you for coming on. Um, this is usually where I ask people to do their plugs for whatever they want to plug. So please tell the people because I love your show. I know what people can do. I think everybody should buy you a Kofi. So if you wanted to pursue your plugs, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm Elaine Lawless with This Filipino American Life podcast. We are This Filipino American Life.com. On Instagram, we are at TFAL podcast. That's at TFAL podcast. You can find random Filipino posts there. And sometimes I link my personal Instagram, but it's also like complicado, so I don't even bother. But the wrestling podcast I did for a short time was called PNG Podcast. So that's at PNG Podcast, I believe. And so definitely, like, there are old episodes. Take a listen if you want. And but yeah, TFL is where it's at. That's where most of the main stuff is. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, like I will, cause like this is something I love. Um, this particular thing I've been loving doing is talking to my people and talking to like them about their experiences with pro wrestling and like how like universal it is. Cause I've interviewed like so many like South Asians, Southeast Asians, East Asians. I interviewed people in my family for this, and like
Awesome.
I'm like I'm like using so many people that I know just because I think that everybody has their own epic story to tell. I know that comes from a quote from a famous writer, uh, but I forgot what their name was off the top of my head. But like yeah, the story that you told me, I felt like I was on an epic journey, and I just want to thank you for taking me on that. And yeah,
Thank you.
I love
This
that.
was so much fun. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much.